when we talked before, and I'm going to say why we talked. We talked before because your wife was away. And
Right.
you picked up her book
Right.
when she was off taking care of her mother who was getting surgery or was hospitalized. And you picked up her book and you didn't know whether it was okay or not to read it. You were kind of
Right.
whether it was okay. And then
Right.
when she came home, you told her you had read it and you started giving her feedback. And she said, I think you ought to call Susan and give her
Right.
feedback. So I'm just
Yeah.
putting a little context around that. So you said that you also read about some obstacles that was new information for you.
Right. Yeah. Some of the things, I knew that women, when they go through menopause and things like that, that they often experience dryness after and things like that, and that starts changing. But what I didn't know is that the walls thin and that it can cause pain. And so I didn't quite understand. I didn't know that before. That was definitely something I didn't know. Um, and yeah, and so that was one thing.
And as a guy, how does that affect you, knowing that the walls get thin and that can be pain? There can be pain.
Well, the first thought is, okay, what do we do about it? How do we fix this? That's the guy thing, we got to fix it, right? So, you think, okay, more lubrication and that kind of thing, and also communicating. Okay, does this hurt? Is this a good position? Is this, should I tweak this way? Just being kind of perceptive, not only because she might not want to say it, because there's that painful pleasure too, where it feels really good, but at the same time, it kind of hurts and you may not be able to walk for 2 days, but I don't want you to stop, kind of thing too. So it's communicating and finding that balance as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Nicely said. Yeah. Okay. You changed me when you gave me that feedback, because I hadn't thought about this being a book for men. I completely targeted women. So I'm more curious about your male response to it now, because you're educating me about what's inside the male brain. So I appreciate that.
Sure, absolutely. One of the main things, I'm good at communicating, I think, and at this age, living, as long as I have, which isn't a long time, but you tend to become more aware. And I always knew that women were complex, but in talking to Pauline and getting to know Pauline and explaining different things, the communications, the different thought processes that go on, the reactions to the body. I even knew that women, if they get stressed out, can miss a period and think that they're pregnant. I knew that, but looking through this book and seeing all the different complex things, there's just no simple way to say, okay, across the board, women should do this in order to feel better or to deal with these different things, because they're so complex. And that complexity was very eye-opening. I knew it, but seeing it in your writing was really good as well.
Just Pauline, do you have any comments that you, as listening?
I was thrilled when Brian picked up the book and I came home from my trip with my mom, and he said, I read it. Do you mind? And I don't know how I was going to tell you about it. And I thought, wow, that is so amazing, because I was going to take the book with me, and I'm really glad I didn't take it with me. I'm really glad he did pick it up and read it. I think it's wonderful that Brian has an open communication style, and I think a lot of men do. I haven't read the book yet. I'm excited about it. I can't wait, because I know it's going to be fantastic. But I've learned a lot listening to him about his perception of what was in the book. And I do know that the guys don't really talk a lot about in the bedroom sorts of things with each other. Women might do that a little bit more. Men don't tend to do that. And he just confirmed that. So I think it's important that there's a resource for them, that they can also pick up your book or books like that and say, wow, there's something of value in here. And you told me, I think the thing that caught my attention was, he summarized it by saying it was amazing and every man should pick up this book and read it. And I said, you need to call Susan and talk to her about what your experience with the book was. So I'm really glad I left it behind that one moment.
This is really fascinating. I am too.
Yeah.
I don't know about other men. I know that Brian's a really open communicator, and I was really happy that he picked up the book. But you also mentioned that Susan's style of writing is really easy. I think you said you read it really quickly.
Yeah, it was a fairly quick read. The way you have it in small sections was brilliant, because you can put it down, like if you've got something else to do, you can get to, okay, you can look ahead and say, okay, I can read to there, and then I have to take a break. I got to go back to work, or I got to do, other things.
My wife.
Right, exactly. So yeah, that was really good. Another thing that I put down here is to play games. Okay, play games. Okay, and that could mean like the role-playing thing, like you mentioned in your book. What do you want to see him in? A tool belt? Would you like to see him in a kilt? What would?
We're sorry, my husband just walked in.
Oh, hey, Noel.
We're just saying, shh,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But would you like to see him in a kilt with a really nice like sweater on and a beret? Or would you like to see him walking with a saxophone in the kilt? I mean, and
yeah,
make it safe for him to do that, because I'll tell you what, not every man is going to want to wear a kilt, and not every man who's like a banker frequents a tool belt. So make it safe in the sense of, look, it's just you and I. Let's have fun with this,
Sounds great. I've seen my husband in a kilt and I like it. Yeah.
So, it's those kind of things. Let your mind go and communicate. Be sure that communication is there. That's so important. And all your advice about the different possible medications and things that you may be lacking and that sort of thing is really important too.
Yeah.
Brian, I can't thank you enough for giving me the internal view of the male with such enthusiasm and clarity.
Absolutely.
It was really appreciated. I'm so glad you picked up that book, and so glad you mentioned it to Pauline. And Pauline, I'm so glad you got him to call me, because it gave me a charge, and I really appreciate it. And
good.
it's giving me a new market.